Siemka, z tej strony Presold i witam Was w kolejnym odcinku z The Council, jak i też w kolejnym epizodzie pod tytułem Hide and Seek. Jest to epizod drugi. Będziemy sobie właśnie rozgrywać ten drugi epizod. Tak jak pamiętacie, skończyliśmy właśnie pierwszym epizodem właśnie tym, że udaliśmy się do... Boże, jak ona się nazywała? No do tej właśnie, co jest na tym. Tutaj po lewo. No i po wypiciu jednej lampki wina chyba stwierdziliśmy, że już nie chcemy siedzieć z kim? Czekajcie, przypomni mi się to. Przypomni mi się to jakoś. Musi mi się przypomnieć. Elizabeth, o, to była Elizabeth. No i później obudziliśmy się poszliśmy do swojego apartamentu, poszliśmy spać i zostaliśmy oskarżeni o zamordowanie Elizabeth Adams. Tak więc zaczynajmy. Co tutaj będzie się dalej rozgrywać?
How many times must I tell you? You must never put your life on the line for me.
Mother has always had a fascination for Lord Mortimer, but has never wanted to tell me why.
We are doing our utmost to find your mother as quickly as possible. Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the guillotine.
All I can tell you is I'm looking for my sister.
Do you believe your mother capable of torturing a child?
An agreement for cannons. Lord Mortimer assured me that you are to take over the project on behalf of your mother.
Johann Christoph von Wulne, Minister of Religious Affairs, and Jacques Peroux, French Revolutionary Tribunal Judge. You will find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Richet. Monsieur de Richet, I am arresting you for the murder of Elizabeth Adams.
No i proszę bardzo. Biuro lorda Mortimera, 22 stycznia. The Council. Epizod drugi. Hide and Seek. Czyli zabawa wchowanego. Po polsku.
I wish to apologize wholeheartedly, Louis. I made you cross the seas, and I wasn't even here to welcome you. When I asked you to join us here, it was, of course, in the hope that you would help us find your mother. But an act of horrific violence occurred during the
No i
night.
mamy lorda Mortimera
I
w
do not
końcu.
know if this is linked to the disappearance of Sarah.
Połączenie z naszą matką.
There's a possible link to my mother. I hope you'll let me know.
In the early hours of the morning, Elizabeth Adams was found dead in her room, savagely mutilated with a knife. I'll get straight to the point, Louis. According to the initial elements at my disposal, you were the last person to see her alive.
Yes, last night we, Do you suspect me?
I want you to tell me everything that happened last night and leave nothing out. Tell me, how did the evening begin?
Jak się zaczął nasz wieczór? Byłem z księżną
Duchess Hillsborough and I were
Emily
returning to our
Hillsborough.
rooms when Elizabeth came up to us. She was in a state of panic and insisted that She needed to speak to me. She said she feared for her life. I took my leave of the Duchess and followed Elizabeth to her room.
Continue.
She insisted we have a drink, without which she refused to confide anything.
What exactly did she want to speak about?
Powiedzieć jej dzieciństwo z moją matką? Myślała, że widziała moją matkę. Ale czy ja chcę im mówić, że Elizabeth coś wiedziała rzeczywiście? Czy może... Nie wiem, coś mi się wydaje, że to kłamstwo wyjdzie i tak na jaw, więc nie wiem, czy powinienem okłamywać lorda Mortimera.
She claimed she saw my mother the previous evening on the cliff, if I remember correctly.
Interesting. I will send someone as soon as possible.
To tak gwizdnął.
But do go on.
I refused to go on drinking with her. She already seemed drunk and her conversation became confused. So, then she ordered me to get out. If only I'd stayed.
Don't blame yourself, Louis. How could you have known? But thank you for this new information. Louis, I shan't hide the fact that this tragedy puts me in a very delicate situation. I cannot risk upsetting the smooth operation of our next conference. But the case cannot remain unaddressed.
I understand. What do you intend to do?
I must reassure my guests, and justice will be done. And for that to happen, I must ask for your help.
Why is that?
You met Elizabeth. You spoke
No
together,
właśnie.
I believe. She trusted you.
Poznaliśmy Elizabeth i
Find out who could
nam
have committed
zaufała.
this murder. I refuse to believe that one of my guests is
No
the
i
murderer.
dostajemy teraz
I
zadania
want to know
lorda
who is
Mortimera, żeby
responsible for
dowiedzieć
this.
się, kto zabił
And I
Elizabeth.
trust you. You have my backing. You must stop at nothing. Can I count on you?
Of course. How would you like me to proceed?
Maybe you could start by going to the scene of the crime. Elizabeth was attacked in her room.
Can you tell me anything else about what happened?
Now, Louis, I wouldn't want to influence you. Get over there and form your own opinion.
Do you have any suspects in mind, my lord?
I spent most of the night talking with Sir Gregory and His Eminence Piaggi, so I think you can remove them from the list of suspects. Monsieur Bonaparte and President Washington left the party after midnight, I believe. They were tired and went up to bed.
Right. I'll get over there
Okej,
immediately.
chodźmy tam więc, bo
Thank you,
tutaj
Louis.
nic innego się chyba nie
And
dowiemy.
once you've finished, come back and let me know your findings. I'll be waiting. And Louis, you've got permission to search through the guests' rooms. They've all been notified and they agree.
Rozwiąż sprawę śmierci Elizabeth Adams.
Which four-letter word could open this?
Co to było? O co tu chodzi?
Which four-letter word could open this?
Dobra, zostawmy to na razie, bo tak bez celu to nie ma sensu. Trzeba się rozglądać ze wszystkim.
The nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781.
Mamy jakiegoś lewiatana. Co gwiżdżysz, szmato? Devil's Thorn. No i mamy Piaggiego.
Your Eminence, I imagine that you've heard the news about Miss Adams.
What a tragedy, my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's exactly what I'm trying to find out. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier, Bonaparte, I believe, hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent man into trouble, Louis. It's probably nothing.
Not to worry, Your Eminence. If he is innocent, then he has nothing to fear. Do you know why Monsieur Bonaparte was hanging around her room like that?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that the dashing young soldier had become infatuated with a fragile young woman who looked a bit lost. But I don't think he got a very warm welcome.
Bonaparte and Adams? But they didn't even know each other, did they?
I couldn't say to me. But if I were you, my
Coś
son,
jeszcze?
I would talk to Monsieur Peru. You remember how violently he set upon Miss Adams.
Oh, don't worry. He's on the list of suspects.
Co tu mamy? O! Co to jest 107? A, kolektor coins.
Which four-letter word could open this?
W sumie to dalej się nie dowiedziałem, czekajcie. Może gdzieś tu na dole będzie pisać. Boże, dziura jak nie wiem. Jak w Poznaj moich Spartan. Dobra, słuchajcie, jestem z powrotem.
Which four-letter word?
Dobra, i to jest bardzo w sumie proste. Czekajcie. Zeus tutaj powinno być. O! I mamy fragment bursztynu, dzięki czemu mamy kolejne punkty. O, i mamy własnoręczne notatki napisane przez lorda Mortimera. No może chodźmy z tym do niego.
I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
I believe I've identified the murderer.
Really, Louis? All
Mamy
right, then.
winowajcę? Co?
Please,
Boże,
think
co ja
carefully
zaznaczyłem?
before you give me your answer. This is a very, very serious accusation.
I'm going to need a bit
Nie,
more
ja jeszcze
time
muszę
to review my
przemyśleć.
findings about the crime.
I do understand. All the more so as it's crucial not to make any mistakes when it comes to naming the culprit.
Ła! Nie wiem, co to było. Tu też nie mogę wejść. Ale musimy pewnie iść do do apartamentu Elizabeth, w którym zginęła. O, kolektor coins. Van Wolner?
Good
To
day,
jest?
Monsieur de Richet.
Mr. Volner, are you looking for anything in particular? Next to Elizabeth's room?
Nothing special.
Wyinsynuują, że chcę unikać
I'd
tego
have
tematu.
thought this is not really the shortest way to get to your suite.
Yes, I wasn't really looking where I was going. I shall leave you now, sir. I will return to my room.
Mhm. Rzeczywiście. Elizabeth nie żyje.
A chest with a half circle pattern.
O! Mamy kawałek bursztynu.
An untutored hand copied these notes.
Notatka.
Looks like a healing method. Well, that's a pity. The writing is barely legible.
No nie mam chyba ten. Czy jeszcze nie do końca? W sumie nie wiem.
My dear Elizabeth, I'm writing to inform you of some unfortunate news. We won't be able to meet.
To już czytaliśmy. O, zrzucony zegar.
The clock stopped at 3:54. If it was smashed during the murder, then I've just established the time of the crime. A pentagram? What the hell's been going on here? I wonder if Elizabeth's death has anything at all to do with this pentagram. If a ritual went wrong and degenerated, Elizabeth would probably have been killed in the center of the pentagram, not 3 meters from here. That's strange. A novel of the initiation of a young woman
Ewelina.
to polite society. A notebook written in Elizabeth's handwriting. It is written in a mix of several languages. Not too easy to work out. June 11th, 1790.
Five circles shaped key.
3rd of November, 1791.
A to są listy od siostry Elizabeth.
Piece of fabric. High quality at that. I'd say it's silk. Going by the
Jedwa.
texture and the gray hue, it must come from a dress, that kind that women of quality wear. The color doesn't correspond to Emily's black outfits, and Elizabeth doesn't have anything quite like this in her wardrobe. Let's take a closer look. It's a little dirty. It must come from the bottom of the dress where it touches the ground. I recognize that moire pattern. It's the same as the travel dress my mother was wearing when she left. But why the hell did she come into this room?
A co jeśli to nasza matka ją zabiła?
Piece of fabric. High quality at that. I'd
Ej,
say
dobra,
it's
ja
going by the texture and the gray hue, it must come from a dress.
mogę
that kind
pominąć,
that women of
proszę.
quality wear.
Tu jeszcze coś mamy.
Vials of laudanum.
Fiolki laudanum.
The label shows that this laudanum comes straight from America. I wonder if Washington's involved.
Co jeśli George Waszyngton jest w to zamieszany?
Devil's Thorn. I'll keep it. The handprint on the handle is really small. I can't imagine a man with a hand that size. It must be from a woman's hand.
Okej, czyli tutaj Louis powiedział, że ten nóż ma taką mniejszą rękojeść i bardzo prawdopodobne, że zrobiła to kobieta, bo ręka mężczyzny niby by się tam nie zmieściła.
Poor girl bled to death.
No jeśli to tam był jeszcze jedwab naszej matki, wydaje mi się, że raczej o...
That's at least a size 15. Where's a size like that here? Peru? Washington, maybe. Knocked over bottle of wine.
Okej.
The thing Elizabeth served me last night. Still just as disgusting.
Aha, to jest to samo, czym poczęstowała nas Elizabeth.
It's undrinkable.
No i rzeczywiście, to było wino jakieś. Dobra. Od dołu do góry.
Blood.
Examine the legs.
And a trace of blows on the legs.
Sexual assault.
The direction of the blood streaks caused by the wounds to the thorax show that she was standing when she lost blood. This proves that she was standing when she was assassinated.
Aha, stała jak ten...
Something.
Jak została zabita. Nie leżała wtedy, ale no co to ma do tego, to nie wiem.
Similar to those on the rest of her body.
Dobra, sprawdźmy teraz
fewer than 9
tułów.
wounds on the thorax with A lot of blood.
9
First sight,
ran.
I'd say that's what caused her death.
No i wykrwawiła się na śmierć po prostu. Observe the
Looks
wounds.
so the wounds were inflicted from a precise angle, as if the murderer was standing behind Elizabeth. Some of these tattoos are veritable works of... What's that? The skin between her breasts is different. Bloody hell! This tattoo was drawn on a page of leather and stitched onto her skin. Probably during
O
childhood. The
kurde.
scars are anything to go by. It's the same
Oni
kind of
jej to
tattoo as
wypalili
on the rest of her
praktycznie.
body.
Wypalili jej ten symbol, który ma na tułowiu. Okej,
There are
sprawdźmy
numerous
rękę.
marks on the body. She must have fought like a lion. It couldn't have happened without a lot of noise. There are also a number of old scars.
Jakie stare blizny ma. Jakieś siniaki.
People who scar themselves in this way generally do so to relieve some kind of
Ale,
psychological suffering. By trying to
dobra,
master the pain,
widać też
establish
takie
their
nacięcia.
self-control.
Czyli, że Elizabeth musiała się też ciąć.
Scarring, ugh. Scarring isn't very regular, but they're mostly from old cuts.
No tutaj nic. To chyba większość z okultyzmem związane, tak mi się wydaje.
No wounds, but blood on the right hand. Nothing on the left except that tattooed symbol.
Zaobserwuj nadgarstki.
It doesn't look like she was tied up or held by force.
Jeszcze głowy. Ale widać, że ma jakieś takie... Nie ma żadnych siniaków na twarzy.
Poor Elizabeth, she must have been very young when she went through all that. That's torture. She also has old scars around the neck, maybe mutilations. What a strange smell. She bled from the nose. There are signs of bleeding, but I don't see any traces of bruising. There are signs of bleeding, but I don't see any traces of bruising.
Poczekajcie chwilę.
What a strange smell. A pentagram. What the hell's been going on here? Many esoteric rituals are based on this shape. Could Elizabeth have been sacrificed during an occult ritual? I wonder if Elizabeth's death has anything at all to do with this pentagram. If a ritual went wrong and degenerated, Elizabeth would probably have been killed in the center of the pentagram, not 3 meters from here. That's strange.
A sługa co ma do powiedzenia?
Do you know who could have made such a mess of this room?
Miss Adams, sir. We were given orders to leave the room as it was, so as not to rush her.
Did she have a fight with someone to get the room into this state?
Not that I know of, sir. Miss Adams would sometimes throw a tantrum, during which she would destroy anything that came to hand. Lord Mortimer told us not to enter the room.
Thanks for that information.
You are welcome, sir. Has Sir finished with this room?
No, I haven't gone over everything yet.
Sir may take his time. When Sir would like to leave, Sir has only to tell me.
Okej, ale... A tu?
The talisman that I gave back to Elizabeth.
O!
I can't exactly say it brought her good luck.
Aha.
Huh. The talisman that I gave back to Elizabeth. I can't exactly say it brought her good luck.
Możesz go wziąć czy coś? Nie wiem.
A notebook written in Elizabeth's handwriting. It is written in a mix of several languages. Not too easy to work out.
A tu? Pistolet.
Pistol? Fairly new, I'd say. And judging by the weight of it, fairly light. It's extremely well maintained. The barrel is perfectly clean. It isn't loaded, and well, there's no traces of gunshot residue. I'd conclude that it hasn't been used recently. There's a few dried traces of blood on the grip. Difficult to know for sure how they got there. A tribute engraved on the barrel. To the liberators of France.
O kurde.
Right.
No to...
I shall have to find its own.
Jeśli to jest francuskiego pochodzenia, to prawdopodobnie może to być Napoleon Bonaparte. Ewentualnie Jacques Peru. Ale to nie byłoby za proste. Czekajcie, bo są ślady jeszcze, nie? Tej krwi.
That footprint has boats for feet. That's at least a size 15. Where's a size like that here? Peru? Washington, maybe.
Nie no. Wszystko aktualnie... O, czekajcie. Wszystko jest aktualnie skierowane na Jacques'a
Blood
Peru.
spatter indicates that the murder must have held Elizabeth upright during the attack. Even if Elizabeth wasn't very big, I doubt she wouldn't have put up a struggle. It takes tremendous strength to overpower someone like that.
To jeszcze jest jedwab z sukni naszej matki. No myśląc logicznie, to najwięcej to na Jacques'a Peru.
If it was smashed during the murder, then I've just established the time of the crime.
Nic innego przedziwnego tutaj już chyba nie ma. Tak mi się wydaje. No cóż, chodźmy stąd.
I know enough now. Thank you.
Very well, sir. Sir may return whenever need be. I shall guard the door.
George Waszyngton? Chyba tu jest. Inspector's Journal. Rozejrzyjmy się jeszcze tutaj dokładniej.
Portrait of George Waszyngton.
Tu jest jakaś szkatułka.
It looks like a note between Emily and Washington about trade deals.
Okej. Jakaś notatka. Rozmowy Emily oraz George'a Washingtona mówiąca o jakiejś wymianie.
Greetings, Louis.
Mr. President, you can guess why I'm here.
Of course.
Lord Mortimer has sent me to ask you a few questions about last night.
How am I going to tell Elizabeth's father that she's dead?
I know, Mr. President. I shall endeavor to find out the truth about this tragedy. I must ask you to help me, though. Please.
Find the degenerate pig who did this, Louis.
Wygląda jakby ją
Are you
opłakiwał.
all right, Mr. President? Are you feeling all right?
Oh, don't worry. It's this rotten toothache. What do you expect? I'm no spring chicken now.
Tell me, Mr. President, had you spoken to Elizabeth since your arrival? You know her father. You thought she was dead.
No, I didn't. And I believe I'll be taking my remorse with me to my grave. I wanted to, but I didn't know where to begin.
You can't blame yourself. You couldn't have known that her days were numbered. Were you aware that Elizabeth took
Powiedz mi
laudanum?
coś o laudanum.
Yes, she came to ask me for some. She had finished her reserve, I believe.
Did she tell you why she was so desperate to get some, Mr. President?
She said she had terrible migraines that
Ona
wouldn't
miała
go
jakieś
away.
dziwne migreny,
More likely for the voices she heard.
które
not the
nigdy nie
migraines.
odchodziły. Anything else?
Mr. President,
Oh.
we found a footprint at the scene of the crime.
Not a dress shoe, I hope. That's all I wear.
No, rest assured. It looks like the print of a big ankle boot. A large size, I'd say.
Perfect. That should help you, Louis. It's a clue. Greetings, Louis.
Ale ja nie skończyłem.
Do you
Czy
know
miał
if
jakichś
she
wrogów?
had any enemies, Mr. President?
Not that I know of. I heard about her altercation with Mr. Peru, but that case was closed, if I'm not mistaken. But if in doubt,
No, Peru
I
niby się
wouldn't
do niej
leave
pruło
any
coś,
door
nie?
unopened. And I'd
Jakby nie
go and
patrzeć.
question your fellow countrymen.
Don't worry. Countryman or not, I'm not letting anybody slip through the cracks. Do you know why she came to the island?
To get help, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right?
Indeed. Sir Gregory suggested to her father that he introduce her to Lord Mortimer to see if he could help her. It would appear that she wasn't invited to the conference.
That doesn't surprise me. The poor girl was in no way concerned by our business, and she had no political clout.
So, I don't understand why Sir Gregory invited her during the conference of his good friend Lord Mortimer. He must have realized that he wouldn't have much time to grant her. Preparing a conference does not seem an easy task. On the evening of our arrival, Lord Mortimer didn't even welcome us, what with his being so busy and all.
O, no właśnie, Lord
Yes, you're
Mortimer
right.
nas
I
nie
didn't think
przywitał.
of that. It is indeed rather surprising.
The easiest thing to do is simply ask him, you know.
Of course. I shan't keep you any longer, Mr. President.
Feel free, Louis. If there's anything I can do, just ask.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nie, tutaj bym na Waszyngtona nie stawiał.
Cash.
Kolektor coins, kolejny.
Monseigneur, His Eminence Cardinal Piaggi.
Tu jest nasz apartament, ale nie możemy do niego wejść. O, mogę jeszcze wejść chyba do Emily.
Emily Hillsborough. King George III in coronation robes. Nice touch for the room of an English duchess.
Dear E, I received your last letter.
Droga E.
Unfortunately, the Crown informed the Golden Order that our mission should under no
Dostałem ostatnio list. Niestety korona poinformowała Złoty Zakon. Ogólnie to chyba powinien się nazywać Złoty Zakon, ale nie wiem, no trochę dziwne takie tłumaczenie. I nasza misja powinna obejść się bez żadnych komplikacji związanymi z planami pana Gregorego. Czekajcie, niech skończę gadać, bo nie mogę się skupić. Decydując, mamy wsparcie z najwyższego szczebla w pałacu Buckingham. Tak więc jesteśmy w tym we dwie. Ręce oraz nogi związane w małym pokoju, aby manewrować? Co? Dobra, nieważne. Informuj mnie o jakichś wydarzeniach. Nasza misja może się stać bardziej skomplikowana. Twoja E, czyli Emma. PS. Francuski oddział... O, nasza przyjaciółka Sara, czyli nasza matka. I że niby francuski oddział nie wie, francuski oddział zakonu nie powiedział nic, o czym by mogli wiedzieć o przybyciu naszej przyjaciółki Sary. Na ten moment tego nie komentuję. Jakkolwiek moje podejrzenia są takie, że przyszło tutaj z osobistych pobudek. Chyba zaraz będziemy kończyć, wiecie? Pogadamy chyba jeszcze tylko z Emily.
A letter from William Pitt the Younger addressed to Emily. He's the present Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Emily has indeed some powerful backers.
Księżno, możesz poinformować króla Grzegorza, świętego ojca Grzegorza, tak? Tak? Dobrze rozumiem? Nie wiem o jego powrocie dokładniej. Powinniśmy asystować ci w finansowaniu recruitment. że jakiś nabór chyba regimentów, regimentów, nie wiem jak to nazwać. Ale to jest notatka od Giuseppe Piaggiego, czyli od naszej eminencji.
2 coils circle the lock. A letter from William Pitt the Elder addressed to Emily. He was the English Prime Minister. A devil's thorn, to be used to uncover the best disguised traits. A letter from
O,
William
kolektor
Pitt the
coin
Elder
tu
to
jest.
Cash.
What can I do for you, Louis?
Co tam,
I've
księżno?
come to see you about last night's tragedy. Did you hear anything about what happened to Elizabeth?
Yes, we all did. Rumors spread quickly, you know. How awful. I didn't know her well, but I hope at least the poor thing didn't suffer too much.
Death came
Don't
quickly.
you worry.
You can be assured of that.
If such a senseless act can happen here, then none of us is truly safe anywhere. Lord Mortimer must be mortified that one of his guests could have committed such an act, don't you think?
He is indeed very upset about it. It's only natural after such a violent murder.
Violent? What do you mean?
Elizabeth was stabbed 9 times.
Oh my
No,
God,
3
Louis.
razy.
How awful. The murderer must have had a serious grudge
Powiedziałem
against her
3,
to set
będziemy o
upon her
9.
like that. It must have been a crime of passion. Do you know what happened exactly?
In fact, Lord Mortimer has asked me to look into this case, Emily.
Really? Are you Lord Mortimer's snoop now?
I'm doing it for Elizabeth, not to please Mortimer.
Good for you.
O, właśnie.
Quite right, too. Have you found out anything?
I'm now
Gdzie Emily
interviewing
była
all
w
the
ostatniej
guests
nocy?
to establish the alibis for each person. Just so that I can cross you off the list of suspects, can you tell me what you were doing on the night of the murder?
Am I given to understand that I'm on the list of suspects?
Don't take it the wrong way, but I must consider every possibility.
Well, if you absolutely wanted to be sure of my activities that evening, you only had to join me, you know.
I know, Emily. Especially since I couldn't prevent the murder, even though I spent part of the evening with Elizabeth.
You're sure it's not too hard to bear for you?
The fact is, I don't have a choice. But I will find the murderer. I owe Elizabeth that, at least. Did you and Elizabeth get to know each other?
I must admit, Louis, I didn't take much interest in her. I feel a bit guilty about it, but I never actually spoke to her. She seemed burdened by her
Czyli nigdy z nią
problems,
nie
and as she
rozmawiała
wasn't
wcześniej.
invited to the conference, I didn't really seek her out.
I teraz Emily czuje się winna, że nie gadała z nią.
I hear you were in discussions with the Holy See.
Oh, either His Eminence can't keep his tongue from wagging, or you've been poking your nose where you shouldn't, sir.
Even so, Emily, you're raising a royalist army. That's no small matter.
And you are straying from the subject. Is there anything else you wanted to ask me?
I found a torn piece of dress in Miss Adams' room. Gray silk.
Where's it from?
That's what I'm trying to find out. The color doesn't match any of Elizabeth's dresses, but I might not have found all of her clothes yet.
Good Lord, Louis, do you realize what this means? If this piece of dress isn't from Elizabeth, then it's... I don't have any grey silk dresses, Louis. Neither does my sister, since we wear the same clothes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to check with you.
I'm so sorry,
Czyli nawet to
Louis.
nie mogła być jej siostra, ani
Are
ona,
you all right?
bo nie nosi
You know,
takich
I'm
strojów.
sure there's a good reason why your mother was at the scene.
Thank you, Emily.
No i dobra.
I won't keep you, Emily. Thank you for answering my questions.
See you, Louis.
Dobra, wychodzimy, żeby zapisać. Myślałem, że to ten bursztyn jakiś. A co to?
Grammar of Port-Royal.
Ah, the
Pochajal.
artistry of the French language in all its splendor. Whoever masters French commands the world. At least une part.
Port Royal Grammar. No, może kiedyś coś. Ale patrzcie, jeszcze dużo tych książek chyba będziemy mieli, tak mi się wydaje. I to trzeba się też tu dobrze rozglądać, bo można oczywiście też coś ominąć, nie? Ale dobra, wyjdźmy sobie. Zobaczmy jeszcze tylko, czy możemy zajrzeć do Napoleona Bonaparte. Możemy.
Monsieur Napoleon Bonaparte.
Monsieur Napoleon Bonaparte. Dobra. Wydaje mi się, że to będzie spoko moment, żeby skończyć. O, teraz będzie save. Tak więc to by było na tyle. Mam nadzieję, że odcinek Wam się spodobał. Zapraszam do lajkowania, komentowania oraz subskrybowania. Na razie, czyli do zobaczenia w następnym odcinku z The Council, epizod 2 pod tytułem Hide and Seek.